Hey guys, King of Charmander here. Today I'll be your judge, your jury, and your analyst. And just like a DJ remixing and trying to find out how to make some change to live some life, I bring to you my top 3 teams for the Ultra League remix. Now the reason I'm doing a top 3 is because top 5 is really not feasible. There's not a lot of budget options on here, so if you're looking to save Stardust, I recommend you go to Open Ultra League. Sadly, Ultra League Remix is full of XLs. Again, I warned you. So before, you know the collect sign for when you play Monopoly. You know when you pass go. Yeah, there. If you don't have a lot of XLs, or if you don't have XLs, I wouldn't recommend it. This is if you're trying to have fun, okay. If you're trying to train, okay. But again, this is a very non-friendly meta for newer players. Putting that out there. Anyways, please consider contributing to PvPoke.com. The reason why Ultra League, again, because most of the XL Pokemon, like as you see, most of top Pokemon on the list are XL Pokemon, and it's for that for good reason, because they're just that good. So without further ado, I'm going to bring you my top 3 because it was really hard to find a top 5 that worked. So top 3 worked somewhat well, but again, use this league at your own risk. Let's get started. Alright, so for team number 1, we got Gengar, lead, Machamp as your safe switch, Blaziken as your closer. The Blaziken I'm using has Brave Bird. Stone Edge is Legacy, so I'm not going to force you to use a late TM on your Blaziken, but if you Brave Bird through Shield, it does heavy damage, and Brave Bird is usually able to cover what Blaze Kick can't. Or, yeah. So, the reason why I have Blaze Kick, you could use Blast Burn. Blaze Kick just fits in the book just because it's less energy, and generally most of it has the same kill ranges against most mons as far as Blaze Kick goes. So again, Gengar lead, Machamp safe switch, Blaziken as your closer. You can customize Gengar, but you need a Payback Machamp for Ultra League Remix. Payback Machamp is really good against Jellicent. It's really good against Ghost meta. So Payback Machamp is like a must. So that's the only high barrier to entry thing that I require for these teams that you pretty much need. So outside of XLs, yes, you need a Legacy Machamp or a Legacy Machamp from Community Day just because payback coverage. This team is really glassy. It has D for coverage, F for bulk. All of them is really glassy. B for safety and consistency. Though this team's gonna do a ton of damage. When I was practicing with it, it really banks on you just beating the unholy heck out of your opponent. So, with the 4-arm monster, the Ghost of... I don't know, the Ghost of Christmas Past, no, actually, they did have that Christmas episode with Gengar, I think. And then you have Blaziken. So, again, you're just going to beat the you're going to beat the unholy heck out of everyone in the back. Yes, this is kind of an ABB team. Not really. But this team really focuses on targeting, as you see here. Galarian, Stunfisk, and in the lead, you're able to take out the Oxus defense and Jellicent, which is why you have Gengar in the lead. Hopefully you're going to be able to catch those fighters, or you're able to catch the ghost types in the lead, because that's what we need. Other than that, you're going to have to rely on Payback or Brave Bird to KO a lot of matchups. As far as your weaknesses go, Mandibuzz is your big problem. This is why you might want to run Focus Blast or Sludge Bomb Gengar. That's a viable option for dark types. Other than that, it's in your best interest to just safe switch. Like, Machamp is actually a good safe switch in this meta. It's actually a good safe switch in the meta, given that you don't see an Air Slash Mandibuzz, you see a Snarl one. But safe switch into Machamp if you don't win the lead, and then close out, realign with Gengar or Blaziken accordingly. Again, you have Payback and Brave Bird to try and nuke your opponent. This is a super glassy team, but if you look at a lot of your weaknesses, Pidgeot's still banned. You likely won't see Jirachi, you likely won't see Jirachi, Victini, Pelipper, etc. Dragonites or anything like that. You won't see a lot of confusions on this meta just because of Galarian Stunfisk running around. So team doesn't have a lot of popular weaknesses. That's why it has a high threat score, but most of the things you encounter on this threat score list you probably won't see except for Mandibuzz. So just keep that in mind. Very glassy team, but if you're willing to give it a shot, I would. So you don't want to use the previous team because it's too glassy? Well, the good news is I still have 2 teams for you. This features Sylveon lead, Snorlax safe switch, and Typhlosion as your closer. Sylveon is a great Charmer lead, It's not super cheap on the dust spectrum, but we did have EV community. Well, EVs are running around everywhere, and the good thing about Sylveon is you don't really need Last Resort. You can use Dazzling Gleam. Last Resort does. You're gonna mostly use Sylveon for the Charm 2 shield damage. That's basically it. So you're gonna have Snorlax as your safe switch, and then Typhlosion to close out. As you see here, good coverage, bulk and safety, and consistent damage. Safe switch into Snorlax if you happen to see a losing lead, and then try to close out with Typhlosion and Sylveon with 2 shields if you can. Typhlosion is a great anti-meta pick in this meta just because Typhlosion is able to burn through most of everything with Blast Burn, and Solar Beam can KO a Jellicent at a certain range. So Typhlosion's pretty dang good. As you see here, this team does incredibly well against a lot of the meta. Barring things like Politoed, which do a ton of pressure damage against you, you can 2-shield your way through to victory. 2-shield charm strats with Sylveon are very powerful. Just keep in mind you probably won't have a lot of shields, so you're going to have to send in Sylveon, charm 2 shield down, send in Snorlax to sponge all the damage and break a lot of shields, and then try to close out with Typhlosion. Keyword is try. For your weaknesses for this team, it's basically the water meta. Sylveon in the 2-shield can run through a lot of these leads, and your weakness, like basically everything but the fire type weakness, which is basically Ho-Oh. I don't foresee a lot of individuals using Ho-Oh in Ultra League Remix just because of Galarian Stunfisk. Again, if you see G-Fist, this is why we have Snorlax and Typhlosion. Safe switch into Snorlax, try to close out with Typhlosion with Blast Burn if you can. And with the high threat score, this basically follows the same principle of the last team, where you won't see a lot of Darmanitans, Raichus, Survivors, Entei. Entei for Ultra League, that's a very interesting weakness, Rhyperiors, etc. You won't see a lot of your weaknesses here, but again, just try to 2-shield your way through with Sylveon, safe switch into Snorlax if you need to, and then close out with Typhlosion if you can, or Sylveon with 2 shields. Alright, and last but not least, we have Snorlax lead, Gengar, Safe Switch, and Machamp to close out. Yes, this is a payback Machamp and a Focus Blast Gengar. So anyways, I started blasting, and Gengar Focus Blast is here for a reason. Gengar and Snorlax both lose to Dark types, so Focus Blast is there to give you a final Hail Mary just in case the match tries to play out. If you do see a Dark lead, you can safe switch into Machamp or Gengar. This is essentially like a double safe switch team, but again, you don't want to see a Dark type with this team. You can, but like it's gonna be really rough if you do, which is basically Mandibuzz. Good coverage, good coverage. Not a lot of bulk just because Machamp and Gengar aren't super bulky. This team is extremely safe though, just because it's essentially a double safe switch team and good consistency. Snorlax does really well against a lot of leads. It does beat Galarian Stunfisk. It can be like, you're going to have the bait in the 2s, but it does really well against G-Fisk. It does well against the Ghost types, and it does well against things like Politoed, etc. in the 2-shield. This shows the 1-shield, so Snorlax doesn't really, doesn't do Snorlax justice, but you know it. But basically that's what it is. As you see, like 0 and 1 shield, so yes. But the reason why this team is really interesting is because you're not going to see a lot of these leads. Mandibuzz, again, Dark types are your worst nightmare. Other than that, you can choose to sack Snorlax and then close out with Gengar, Machamp with shields, etc. Which is why you can beat Nidoqueen, Lona Ninetales, Dragaggle, Flygon, etc. Pidgeot's also kind of a problem. Normal types in general, which would be Pidgeot, but we're taking advantage of the fact that Pidgeot is still banned because Niantic can't get their stuff together. So, with Pidgeot still being banned, this team can work very, very well. I've practiced with it quite a bit because PvPoke training sims for Ultra League Remix are here, and it did decently well. It got me more wins than losses, but again, that's for me, so I don't know if this team will work for you. You're going to have to train with it and give it a shot before you put it out and put in an application. Again, this follows the concept of the other 2 teams where basically you probably won't see these leads a lot, or you won't see a lot of these combinations or Pokemon. And that's GG's. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I really wanted to try to find a top 5, but top 3 is easier to do, and to be honest with you, it's really difficult to find a lot of teams with budget that will work because it's so dominated with XLs for Ultra League Remix. It's really difficult. Like, they're really that oppressive. When you combine a lot of fast move, like charge move pressure with a ton of bulk and just like obscene like amounts of just like power. Yes, they don't hit super hard, but with some of the moves, depending on what you're up against, they can hurt really hard. So because of that, XLs do dominate Ultra League Remix, and it's not for newer players. Again, this is just if you want to give it a shot. Other than that, I definitely recommend you go into Open Ultra League or just skip Ultra altogether, because the Great League Remix is really a terrible idea in my opinion. The bans don't work in the favor of newer players, or it's just not really a fun meta just because it's basically like a pay-to-win meta for the most part. Other than that, hope you guys enjoy this. Hopefully these teams do help you out and give you an idea of what to use for Ultra League Remix if you don't have all the super powerful Mega XLs like Dexter's Laboratory. You know, not all of us have all the time in the world to build a giant basement with technology, and like somehow he got all the funding for that. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you do me a huge favor, and please like and subscribe. As you see on that little bottom right there, there's a little, you could easily subscribe by just putting your mouse over that little TV box on the bottom right that says subscribe, and then it will pop up the sub tab and you can easily subscribe. Really helps me out for my sub goal, and it's totally free. Again, please like and subscribe. It's totally free, helps the YouTube algorithm, and helps my goal for the end of the year of 3K subs. Good luck on your Go Battle League sets. Hopefully these teams do help you out, and I will see you guys on the next video.